What's your emotion right now?
Disappointment, mostly. Probably a whole bunch of other things in there, but enormously disappointed. I thought the players, they left it all out there. We just went. I mean, there's 3 close ones in a row. We've won 2, and could easily have been a similar situation. We've handled those close games pretty well, and the rational part of my mind thinks, I'm sure there's some positives in the game somewhere, but the emotional part of me is just not feeling any of them just at the minute. So we competed with a good side and we fell just short.
Did so much right though, as you say. It must be hard to see the positives, but did so much right. Do you think it's obviously one that got away from you guys in the end?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I think looking back with hindsight, lots of things you would do differently. Players, coaches, I think. They just ran us down at the end, and so I think there'll be a lot made of the last minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but probably the last even 45 minutes of the game. How we could have just found a way to score again and kick a couple more, and so I was enormously proud of the efforts of the players. Our pressure was enormous. I thought for the day we really caused them trouble. I thought they weren't able to play the game they would like. I haven't obviously heard Kenny speak, but I imagine that they didn't want to play the game in the manner that it was played, so we caused them some trouble. We thought the pressure and the work rate of our players was what we would need coming to a hostile environment. We knew we wanted to try and take the crowd out of the game, and we were able to do that for large parts of it. And so to fall short when you do so much right, it's pretty disappointing for us.
What's it like in the box in those final couple of minutes? I mean, for you as a coach, do you feel a bit helpless, or did you see stuff that you'd like to have seen differently, if that makes sense, from your players? Or
yeah, I mean, we've done a fair bit of work on close game scenarios, and putting ourselves in winnable positions was something that I've spoken about regularly, and we're able to put ourselves in a winnable position but not win it. So we've still got some work to do on how to handle those situations. I think in the box, okay, if we kick the next goal, this is the plan. If they kick the next goal, this is the plan. And we actually executed that stuff not too, like the last minute was not too bad. We had players where they needed to be and playing in the way that we gave ourselves a chance, and 5 seconds wasn't long enough to get a score back.
Despite that disappointment, I mean, it is another piece of evidence for your players that they are heading in the right direction. Do you feel like that will sort of override the disappointment in time?
I actually have no answer for that. It doesn't feel like it right now. I think when you look back in a month's time, perhaps we'll say, oh well, that was a game where we learned some things. I mean, I think we've been talking a lot about the standards and that we hold each other to, and I think as a Hawthorn fan, you want to know what you're going to get when you turn on the TV and you watch a Hawthorn game. And for the most part, you give it a lot of ticks. I thought I think the Hawks fans who weren't able to make their way over here watched that game and said, I'm proud to support that team. They're young, they have a go, they're always trying all right to the end. Body language is good. Looks like they're having fun out there, the environment. But the standards that we hold ourselves to need to be at a level that wins more of those games, and so some of the mistakes that we make are the same ones we've been making, and so those ones we need to learn. If they're new, there's lots of new things, especially a guy like Ethan Phillips, he plays his first game, he's learnt an enormous amount today, and he's going to be much better for that game. Whereas some of the players who are more established, it's how consistent can they be in their actions, how predictable can they be to their teammates, and the more predictable you are to your teammates, the more likely you are to get good results. And we just weren't able to get often enough the plan executed, and we just couldn't take the key moment. That was a couple at the end that we could have taken. So it was enormously disappointing.
And the territory battle was one that was on your terms for 3 quarters, and then they flipped the script dramatically. Was that just them? Do you feel like it was them chancing their arm and taking risks because they had to, or did you guys do something a bit different in that 4th quarter that you'd take back?
Oh, they've been in that situation a lot. I think games at Adelaide Oval territory is really important, and I thought that the way they set the game up in the last quarter was was pretty smart. We it wasn't our plan to play in a defensive manner. We would have loved to continue to score and find a way, and that's our growth. I'm sure one of the learnings from the game. I haven't finished ruminating on it yet, but thinking about how we can find ways to score when we're in front, because the natural instinct is to tighten everything up and play conservatively, and as a result, I think the inside 50 count in the last quarter was like 22-4 or something. We lose contested possession by 20, so we end up, we're plus 17 in that stat at 3/4 time. So we lose the contest and we lose the territory battle, and how we can, as a young group, fight against human nature, which human nature is telling us. Tighten everything, play conservative, and we want to probably find a way to do the opposite, particularly in the first period of that quarter. So once they got the heat up, and we just couldn't control the narrative of the game in the last 10 minutes.
How do you balance your message to the players after that then? I mean, I've touched on that there was so much good stuff and then you don't get the results, but how do you, I guess, balance the pros and cons from that game in what you tell your players, or the message to your players?
Oh, it's too early now to know what the key message out of it is. I think we've already had a brief chat around the standards that we hold ourselves to, and it's the details in your preparation and in your game, because it's if you've got a few extra steps of high speed running, if you've got a slightly better acceleration off the line, so all the little details of the game, like the absolute basics that no one see, all the work that's done behind closed doors. You can't. We obviously look technical, tactical aspects of the game that'll happen during the week, but were you a good teammate today? How can you improve as an individual? How can we improve as coaches? How can we make sure we're set up as best we can? I'm sure there'll be some positives. I'm sure we'll look back at that and show some good bits of play, but at the moment it's just such a missed opportunity, coming to playing against one of the best sides of the competition on their home deck. With the young side, it was an exciting challenge for us that we knew we would have to be at our absolute best, and we were just off that.
Too cliche to say it's part of the growing pains of a young group and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I need to say that. I think the growth in the group in the last... we got a genuine touch-up by the Swans a couple of weeks ago, and I look at that team and I thought, and I said after that we actually tried pretty hard in that game, and I look at where the effort, I don't think anyone watches that game with Hawthorn aren't, it's not a lack of effort. I don't think anyone says that. Maybe the system wasn't perfect. Maybe the, key moments weren't taken. But I think you look at our growth over the, even 12 months ago, we got beaten. I think they were 95 points up here at halfway through the third quarter. So we're making steps. We're making progress. But you can keep taking steps forward, but you need to take gains and you need to take scalps when you get the chance to take them. And we had a chance today, and we let it slip.
Let's take one more if we've got one.
Do you like hard work in defence or forward? He likes this ground.
You don't have another one, do you? I wouldn't mind another Blake Hardwick, but I mean, CJ's numbers, his running numbers were ginormous, and we sort of didn't really want that. So the chance of him, the chance of re-injury once you get significant fatigue increases. So we thought we needed to probably make the call with him. And so that meant we had to make a move, and I kind of wanted him at both ends. But he's been a fantastic player for us for a long time, and I'm glad he's getting some reward. It always felt to me like he was capable of kicking a few goals in the forward line. It hadn't quite clicked for him yet. Even today, he kicks it. I think he kicked 4 in the first quarter and finishes with 5. So there'll be. But I think he's going to be, a continued work in progress in his role and where he can play. But he's obviously a fantastic asset for us.
Thanks, guys.